the things you do reminds me of my Lexus cool. That's why I'm all up in your grill, trying to get you to a hotel. You must be a football coach, the way you got me Memphis, so baby I do too. Let me get that heat, running her hands through my fro, bouncing on 24s. How they say it?
Oh, yeah, it is the remix to the Big Lads podcast. Welcome back. I'm your host, as always, Eric Plaskotch, and we got a great podcast for you today. Today we have Simon and Ollie back on. Yes.
What up?
Say hi, guys, I guess. Yeah, way to follow my lead. But yeah, we have a really good podcast for you guys. We have the best of one podcast and the best of the other podcast to meet to make a major podcast. And yeah, really excited about this. This one's going to be a bit shorter. We're going to keep it like Coach Pop's interview answers, short and sweet, to the point, and try to get you out of here under an hour because, Ollie, you have a date tonight.
Hey-yo! Wait, if we're keeping it like Pop's interview answers, it's going to be very offensive, though. It's going to be three words and... What?
We're talking about LeBron James. There's a 0% chance it's going to be short.
Yeah. It will be offensive, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Ollie, can I ask you off the bat, is that blazer for your date tonight?
No, actually. The blazer has a different story to it. It comes courtesy of Greg Zahn, who dumped a bunch of his old clothes at Sportsnet with a sign reading, "Looking for a new owner." So we went up and rummaged through, and I came out with this blazer, about 8 sizes too big for me. Probably has a few questionable stains on it, too. But I'm going to get it dry cleaned and then probably sell it on eBay. Thank you, Greg Zahn.
How many people have given you spare change since you've been walking around the street looking like that?
Surprisingly, no one. Look at these arms. Like, honestly, this guy had massive arms. Look how baggy these things are. Or maybe it's just my arms aren't big enough.
Spend a little more time in the gym, Ollie.
Whose fault is that, Simon? Yeah, workout partner right here has not been holding his end of the bargain up.
You never call? You never
Oh, my God. I never call. Do we need to go through the text messages? Gym today, Simon? Nah, working. Gym today, Simon? No, looking at houses. Come on, you don't have a job. Let's be real.
Okay, guys, I think this is a perfect opportunity to go through the rules of the podcast because it sounds like this is about to get this is going to be a heated discussion. So I like to make sure the rules are actually followed this time. Previously in other podcasts they weren't, and the audio kind of sucked. So I like the intensity, but I do want the audio to be clean. So let's go over rule 1. Let's keep it light and high energy. That probably won't. Well, high energy, light, not so much. Number 2, let's not shout over each other. This is the most important rule. So actually, when
Bones, no. Before you say that rule. Okay, no, go ahead.
Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. So usually, if someone's in the middle of a sentence, people will scream out like "ho" or like "whoa," and like it's the most annoying thing for audio. So refrain from saying the hoes and the woes, and just don't. And then keep good podcast etiquette. Number 3, keep in mind everything is public, so let's not say anything that we don't want people to know. Obviously, we have a devious kind of other life that we all live, and we don't want other people to know about it, so we're not going to mention any of that today. And then number 4, if you have an annoying tendency, I'm going to call you out on it, and then you have to take drinks throughout the podcast. And
you guys have drinks? Where's your drink?
I have a drink.
Whoa, I didn't know it was drinks. I'm going to get a drink.
Wow. Someone didn't read the rules, eh?
Wait, time out. Bones, can everybody see the 2 side windows other than the main one? Or just us?
Just the 2, no, you can see everything if you're, what do you think about doing?
No, I'm just saying, and a good way for you to moderate would be if we did a grade 3 hand raise if you want to say something, and you can cut people off and put people in if you think there needs to be a rebuttal immediately.
No, just
if Ollie's talking, I could be like,
no. You know what? Just feel out the conversation. If someone has a pause in their thoughts and you wanted to say something, that's a good opportunity. It's when they're kind of mid sentence and people will just start talking. It makes no. It's This is conversation 101.
I haven't
So, like,
raised my hand since grade school, and I refuse to do it again now.
Oliver, I got the good stuff. So,
Oh, yeah, real high quality.
big
Take
time.
a chug
Big time.
for interrupting me.
okay, so I'm gonna keep going on the agenda. So this is going to be called the Post Father's Day Spurcast, and as you all know, Father's Day was a big day, especially for Game of Thrones. If you didn't get your father an arrow to the chest while he's sitting on the toilet, then you're probably a better son than Tyrion. And you know, another thing, someone's daughter burned alive. So that was another bad Father's Day moment on the show. So bad Father's Day in Game of Thrones. Did you guys do anything for Father's Day? Call your dads?
We had a heated email exchange about the World Cup. It's good times. He's having about 2 hours of sleep a night, just watching constant World Cup.
I was wondering, I mean, what's the bare minimum I thought I could get away with for Father's Day? It's a Hallmark holiday. It's not a real holiday. So I thought about calling, thought about even sending my mom a text and asking her to wish my dad a happy Father's Day, but I settled on an email, and I thought that was sufficient.
I think you should probably call on Father's Day.
You think it's a call? I mean, I'll call on his birthday. I have to distinguish that birthday's more important than Father's Day. I guess I got him a present for his birthday, too.
I would call on just a regular day. So, like, I think on any day that celebrates him being a father, it would be nice to get a call from his son.
Wow. Make me feel like a shitty son right about now.
Yeah, it's rude.
Well, you know what?
Your email as well, Simon.
Your poor dad is probably sitting by the phone still, waiting for that Father's Day call, and I feel bad for him.
Guilt trip. All right, now I feel bad too.
Well, you're going on a date. I'm just trying to prepare you for your long, dating or relationship.
Can we talk about this date, please?
Yeah, let's talk about the date. Who is this girl?
Friend of a friend from Queens. This will be date number 3.
No
in a span of 2 weeks, too, which is a pretty short amount of time for 3 dates.
How much puss?
Wow, rude.
That
is rude, Simon.
That is so rude.
I thought we were not revealing intimate details of each other's relationships. Shots will be fired back. Retaliatory shots will be coming later in the pod.
I gave you Harlem.
Correct.
I gave you Harlem.
It's true. Simon recommended my first date spot, Harlem.
That's a great.
What's that?
That's a great restaurant. I was just gonna say.
Yeah, well, I was a little worried because my roommate just before I left told me that it was an all-black jazz bar, so I didn't know what Simon had signed me up for at first. But it turned out that there were some pale-skinned folks in the building, and that was a relief. Let me tell you, you don't want to walk into an all-black bar on your first date. Bad luck.
What is that conversation?
Then we went from there to a movie date, very stereotypical. And yeah, she bailed on me after both and went straight home. The first one wasn't even a work night. So honestly, I'm reaching my peak level of frustration with the lack of poontang.
And what are you doing tonight?
What's that?
And what are you getting up to tonight?
Tonight I'm gonna go meet her at some bar. It's her friend's birthday.
So
no. You don't want to meet up girls at a friend's birthday. That is the worst possible date.
That's why I was thinking about bailing, as I told you. Yeah.
You never want to do that.
Hopefully she won't tune into this podcast and see all my...
I did that with Ben Resnick once. He was dating like that. Remember that? I don't know if you guys ever met her. He was dating this girl who was like younger than him, and it was like a few weeks into it, and he dragged me to her friend's birthday, and it was by far the worst time I have ever had in my life. Like everybody knows each other except like you. Like you're a sore thumb. Like you don't even know this girl. You haven't even,
Well, that's the thing. I feel it would be a lot easier if I went with a wingman, too, which I don't have right now. So the thought of showing up solo in my Greg Zahn jacket doesn't really sit very well with me.
Yeah, I wouldn't go wingman. I would just not go at all. It's like, that is a terrible idea.
I'm kind of leaning that way.
But she could be drunk, which seems like it's necessary for Ollie at this point.
Yeah, but then Ollie comes off desperate. Like,
whoa. Hold on a sec. Hold on. Let's not go down that path. But I was also thinking that she might be drunk. But then again, it's work night. Tomorrow is a work day.
It was
So
Friday.
yeah, but she has to go into work at 9 a.m. So what are the chances she's coming home to stay here?
Oh, 0. 0.
Exactly. So what am I even doing with my night?
I have no idea. You should just nuzzle up in that blazer and go to sleep.
I
It
see your
has some more
tail
stains.
there, Simon.
Just add a couple more stains to that.
The good news is it's a beige jacket, so you'll never know.
So, everyone will know. Everyone watches this podcast. I know.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
I hope she
Okay.
doesn't tune into this podcast.
Yeah. I'm sure she won't last, so don't even worry about it. Okay. Let's talk about Ben losing his job.
Wow. From happy to sad.
Tough stuff, Benji.
It was tough because it felt like he was talking about this for a long time, and it felt like it was a long time coming. And it actually reminded me of like the Seinfeld episode today where like Elaine loses her job and George starts working for the Yankees, and like, you know, Ollie finally gets a promotion, Ben loses his job, everything evens out for me. So and then Simon, you've never had a job, so you're like the Kramer of the situation. But yeah, a bit shitty for Ben. But I've been talking to him, and I think there's other positions inside of CBC, so I think he'll be okay. Simon, what do you think? Ben's gonna be all right?
Ben always finds his feet. He's got enough Jew equity to get him through some tough times.
Wow. Guy's already had a hard time here. You gotta throw his religion under the bus too, eh?
That's not throwing under the bus. It's just, you know,
It's almost complimenting. You're right.
Big up with
it
it.
is a compliment. They're well connected. I know. I'm in the connection.
Bones is in, if you know what I mean.
I
So-
feel bad for Ben because I feel like there was a similar situation at the Score when Rogers bought the Score, and now Rogers has bought the NHL TV deal, which puts CBC Sports pretty much out of business.
Why don't you get Ben a job at Rogers?
If I had any sort of connections, I would obviously do whatever I could.
I think you should march in Monday morning with your blazer and talk to the boss
I gotta
and
scroll.
demand a job for Ben Resnick.
All he can pull as much weight at Rogers as weight he could physically actually pull. Not much.
That was a good one. That was a good one. But the point is, Ben's going to be fine. He's bounced back from other jobs before. He's handsome, well-educated, experienced.
2 degrees.
2 degrees. What more could any employer fucking want? Like, he's got a great ass.
Great lid. Great lid on that kid.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not too worried about Ben, but I feel bad because I do understand where he's coming from. So,
I think
shout out to you, Ben.
it's good because he's used to the grind of trying to find a job, so I think he'll be okay. He's probably used to the interviewing scene, so he shouldn't be nervous about kind of going back into it.
That's
It's
Ben's
a situation, though. It's come down to the point where there's pretty much 2 places that do sports media in Canada now, and it's TSN and Rogers. They're eliminating all the competition, and it's not a very diverse marketplace at this point.
Yeah, he could also do something else, like in media. It doesn't have to be necessarily sport related.
Ben is
Okay.
a diverse individual.
Yeah. Okay, and also breaking news, Simon and Mila are now going house shopping. So I found this out last weekend. And Simon, you and I could have been neighbors.
What's going on?
Oh, freeze. We're back.
Bones got a little freezing. I think Bones still frozen.
Phone's still frozen. We'll carry this show.
We'll carry it big time. Big ups. Yeah, so what Bones
All right.
was saying basically is, Bones, you back?
Yeah.
Oh, big time. You
There
cut
you
out for a while. Yeah, so as you guys may know, we were getting the old boot to the curb thanks to the arrival of Riggins, who's scheduled to arrive in October, but that dog didn't take, so another one's pregnant now, and they'll be delivering in August, which means we take home in October. Anyways, Big Timmy Riggs is coming home in October. But we need to be out of here. So instead of finding a place to rent, my mom's going to buy a place, and we'll rent from her.
So, Simon, first question. You go from having Mila's parents as your landlord to having your mother as your landlord. This has got to be a big upgrade, right?
Yeah, big step up. Big step up. I might have a working dishwasher.
Is that a problem with your old landlords? Did you bring that up at the family dinners a lot?
Stuff does not get brought up at that household.
I made the mistake of going over there and trying to use the dishwasher. Mila screamed at me, "Ollie, what are you doing? It's a fucking functional dishwasher!" Yeah, why wouldn't I think it's a functional dishwasher? Jesus.
Did it have a note? Was there a note on it?
Sorry?
It's been like 9 months of dysfunctional, so the note is no longer.
Guys, you need to put a note. You should paste a note on there or tape it.
Anyways, back to the point. We're looking for a place. We're getting a little downtown townhouse. And what Bones was referring to before is we were looking at a place, about to put an offer on a place that was literally across the street from Bones. But it didn't work out. It actually went for 20 grand over asking. And apparently everything goes for at least that over.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm going tomorrow to look at a place which is basically a block and a half from there. Still on Shank Street, but Shank and Massey.
Oh, okay. That's still close to me. So we still might be able to go to Trinity Bellwoods on the weekends and hang out. And,
shirtless every time.
Look at whatever.
Dogs. Frisbees.
I like a good French bulldog. You know what I'm saying?
Simon, right. Since we're working out at your current building's gym, I'd like to request that your new place also has a gym. If not, if you could buy at least enough gym equipment for us to continue working out, that would be great.
I'll work on it. See what I can do.
All right. Let's talk about last weekend at Savoy. So we had a really big weekend. Jeff Matthews, the white.
Sorry, I'll drink.
The white whale of the Big Last podcast. He shows up in a blue moon, and he was in town last weekend, and that was a good time. We had a pre-drink. I met up with Mila Simon. Mila, Simon, and Jeff at one of their friends' place, and maybe Simon, you can give us a little recap of the night.
Started off. I met up with Jeff first, pretty early at around 6:37 at his buddy's place, a little west of town. Giant patios and patio Jenga, a big pool on the patio. It's weird. Anyways, a bunch of peeps, had a good time, had some drinks, maybe a few too many. Mila came in, Bones came in, it was a good time. Then we decided to dip down the street to Savoy, which was Bones' call, I'm pretty sure. Great call. That place was bumping. I'm putting it just below College Street Bar on the tunes list because it was rocking.
So actually, I'll just interrupt here because actually, my old client, who is a girl like kind of around my age, actually knows the DJ at Savoy, and she organizes events around the city. And this weekend is a '90s event on Friday, which has the Savoy DJ, but like a much larger crowd. So I'm not sure if you Simon or you guys are interested in that at all, but it is
larger in dimension of person or size.
She is not that dimension of person. So like, yeah.
Fatties only.
Yeah, if you saw her, you weren't saying this. So like,
okay.
Yeah. So just side note, you can answer me later. Once you ask Mila for permission, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll probably declined. So the night was good. We got to Savoy, we're jamming out. Randomly, Ben Resnick shows up. Nobody invited him, but there he was. Good times.
Ben
just. We did. Or was Ben invited?
No, we didn't coordinate at all. So Ben just showed up with the other half of the posse, which was like Chelsea, Sarah, all those girls. Sam's like university friends, and completely random. It was actually really really wild and a lot of fun.
When I showed up, I just assumed you guys all came together. And in Toronto, you never run into people too, so that's random.
It was super random.
Yeah, well, Savoy is like Ben's favorite place, and he actually told me about it, and then I told Simon. One thing which was a bit disappointing about the night was James McMillan was in town, and he did not come out, and he missed out on a great night.
Failed.
Well,
It's
hold
too
on.
bad.
Simon, the master bailer here, calling someone else out for a bail after he bailed on all the Ottawa boys when they all came down for a weekend. Oh my God.
Simon's
Not
a bit
my
of a
fault.
hypocrite.
Not my
Yeah.
fault. Okay, but highlight of the night.
I almost bailed too. You guys were on the other side of the city. You were
Oh, yeah.
waiting at some dude's condo. You're like,
supposed
yeah,
to
come
go
to this
to
guy's condo. It'll be a great time. I'm not
That's
gonna
what I
come
did.
at
That's
1
what
in the morning to go to someone's condo.
Rude.
What are you saying, Bones?
That's what I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bones came.
I
didn't
did
know
come eventually.
I didn't know anyone at the condo. I stood there awkwardly and made small talk.
Attaboy.
That's what you do, Ollie, when you're an adult.
That's what I'm gonna go do tonight.
Anyways, can we get to the highlight of the night?
What was the highlight of the night? When we all shoved into the car to go?
Secondary highlight was our drive home. This little smart car with Ollie driving, me in this passenger seat, and Bones in my lap. This little tiny car. Girls hollering at us all the way down the street.
Wait, I thought the highlight of the night was.
I said this was secondary highlight.
Oh, okay.
Primary highlight was when this black chick was completely in love with Bones. And as much as Bones wanted to grind with his dudes, this chick would not allow him. And she just kept trying to dance up on him. It was pretty great.
You know what? I may have allowed it just because I've never danced with a black girl before. So like it was a pretty exciting moment for me. And also, if Simon wasn't there, I probably would have done it. It was more like just to prove to him I have what it takes.
Respect.
And yeah, I felt much mutual respect. He was looking at me the whole time. She was looking at me. Everyone was looking at me. It was great.
All eyes on Bones. Can we organize a lads trip to Carabana this year?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'm actually not here, so that won't work. But
Well, that's just typical Simon, like organizing something and it completely does not commit to it.
no,
This is like our touch football team all over again.
I wanted to play. I was never invited.
Well, your liability with your back and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I don't want to hurt you.
All right,
Take
let's make
it
moves
easy.
on this.
CIS all corner to liability on Bones' touch football team. What's happened, Simon?
All right,
It's
guys.
a
Our
hard
quick
ball
pod
to
has already
the
taken 40 minutes, so let's get going.
Okay, so let's talk about the meat, this first series. So the Heat got abused, losing the NBA Finals 4-1. 3 of those games were a margin of 15 points or more. What are we attributing the poor
I thought
showing
all
in the
4 were.
finals?
All 4 games were 15 points.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I got that wrong. Okay. First, Simon, then Ollie. What are we attributing the poor showing in the finals to? And be nice.
I'm glad Simon goes first.
Oh, shut up. All right. First game wasn't a poor showing. It was the AC blew out. LeBron got cramped. They were up 6. He goes out. I don't want to hear what all he has to say. He goes out. That game shouldn't have been a 15-point game. Second game, they win. Third game, fourth game, fifth game.
What happened? What,
Yeah.
3 games there?
I'll
You're
tell-
not
I'll
gonna.
tell
You're
you
just
that.
gonna
I'll tell you what happened.
throw those out the window?
Ollie, be
I'll tell
nice.
you
This is the whole point of why I was upset when you and Tom were on the podcast, because all you would do is interrupt each other and you couldn't hear anything. So let Simon talk, then you can talk, okay?
Okay, I gotta get a beer while he talks.
Okay.
All right.
I'm here for you, Simon. You can
That's
talk
pretty
to me.
useless. All right. So Dwayne Wade, dominant Eastern Conference Finals. Like, he was playing well. Comes into the finals and just completely self-combusts. The guy I would have been less useless on the floor. Questionable, but you know what I mean. He was really bad. Chris Bosh has his moments, but way too few and far between. Ollie, we do not want to look at your junk. And then Ray didn't really show up in the last 3 games. The point guard duo was just atrocious. They couldn't even be on the floor. Really, nobody showed up. The coaching, they didn't coach very well. They didn't make adjustments. They had bees in a suit the entire series until the last game. Like, you have to be able to make Beasley a serviceable player when you're getting blown out. Like, he can score points. You're down 15. Why are you not putting James Jones on the court? Game 4, you put him in for 2 minutes, and he's your second highest scorer. It doesn't make any sense to me why he wasn't playing more. Anyways, any hate on LeBron for this series is so absurd. You look at that last game and you guys saying he quit and he only scored 17 in the first quarter and nothing else. He was the leading scorer, the leading assist getter, the leading rebounder, the leading steals, and the leading blocks, not only for his team, but the entire game. He was number 1 in every category. Every single category. You can't hate on the guy. He's too good. He just had zero support. It was 9 guys on the Spurs against 1 guy on the Heat. That's why they got beat. The Spurs were a much better team, but you cannot blame LeBron for it. He got no support. I'm done.
All right, Ollie, let's hear the rebuttal.
Okay, so I just want to sum up Simon's argument here for a second. So the reason the Heat lost was because Michael Beasley and James Jones didn't get enough playing time, eh? And because Dwayne Wade sucks balls. All right.
Great sum up.
I'll give you Dwayne Wade is not playing his greatest basketball right now. And you know what? Spurs by far had more depth. But that's what Miami has created. They've created a team of 3 players and a bunch of minimum contracts. That's what happens when 60 of your $65 million cap is taken up on 3 dudes.
What happened the past 2 years? What happened the past 2 years? Doesn't make any sense.
Hey, I'm just saying he was good enough to win it the last 2 years, but this year he got trumped by a much, much better team. And let's be honest, LeBron wasn't even the best player on the floor after Game 2. Kawhi Leonard outplayed him in Games 3, 4, and 5. So
Define
that's
outplay.
why. What's that?
Define outplay.
Well, he had better stats than him. I actually just looked them up.
Look him up.
Okay, I got him for you right here. In the last 3 games, LeBron averaged 27 on 55% shooting with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 0.5 blocks, 1.7 steals, 3.7 turnovers. Kawhi Leonard, 24 points per game on 68% shooting, 9 rebounds to LeBron's 7, 2.5 assists, 2 blocks to LeBron's 0.5 blocks, 2 steals to LeBron's 1.5 steals, and 1.5 turnovers to LeBron's 3 turnovers. Kawhi was beating LeBron off the dribble. LeBron wasn't beating Kawhi off the dribble. So he wasn't even the best player in the series for the majority of this series.
Okay, but you have to look at it in context. Kawhi is taking LeBron off the dribble because there's nobody else. LeBron goes against Kawhi. If he gets by Kawhi, there's 2 guys right there standing in front of him. So there's nowhere to go past Kawhi. It's not one person defending him.
That's when his teammates come into play, and you're telling me that Chris Bosh...
I said the Spurs played much better.
You're telling me that Chris Bosh, Rashard Lewis, and Ray Allen can't knock down open 3-pointers with Chris Anderson standing under the basket?
I'm telling you they didn't.
They did all series. Rashard Lewis was shooting like 50% from 3.
Are you retarded? What series were you watching?
Rashard Lewis
Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
Rashard Lewis could not miss.
In the
Rashard
Eastern
Lewis.
Conference Finals?
No, in the finals, Rashard Lewis was hitting every
on
single
fire.
thing. The problem was the game that he played really well, the Spurs were shooting 90% until half.
Obviously, LeBron didn't have enough depth to win this series. He is the best player in the world right now, but he didn't have enough depth on his team to win this series.
It didn't have anything to do with depth. It had something to do with the players on his team sucking.
Okay,
Because they had the exact same depth the year before, and they won. So you can't say they didn't have depth. They just sucked this year.
Okay, let's Simon, what do you think LeBron kind of being so he's really the apex of this whole team, like.
By the way, Rashard Lewis had 3, 2, and 1 in the last game. 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Yeah, but what about the other 2 games?
Looking up.
Anyway, Simon, what do you think about the
2 points, 1 rebound, 0 assist.
Simon, what do you think about?
Wrong.
Keep going back. He was great in games 1 through 3.
Okay, the whole series. Okay, continue, Bones. Sorry.
Okay, Simon, what do you think about the theory that LeBron is almost, because he is such a dominant player, the ball is in his hands probably 60% of the time. Do you think that affects the play of the other players in your team? Where you see the Spurs offense, there's so much ball movement. It's such a team dynamic rather than having just a dominant, skilled player.
I don't think that at all because LeBron gets his teammates open shots all the time. They're just missing them. It's one thing to like the Spurs are getting open shots by team passing. The Heat get open shots because they're triple teaming LeBron and he kicks it out to an open guy.
Yeah, but there's a rhythm to the game that's almost being taken out of it when you have the ball in LeBron's hand for dribbling around and then getting triple teamed, then throwing it to a guy. Like when you're not touching the ball over and over again, it's hard to make down an open shot versus when you're involved in the play.
Good point.
Fair. I agree that there was way too many times where LeBron would dribble in, not have anything, kick out, they'd give it back to LeBron and just try it over again. But I mean, how much is that LeBron's fault, and how much is that the coach's fault? How much is that other people not being able to do anything's fault? I don't know.
There also comes a point where LeBron just needs to put his head down and become a scorer, and he does that for stretches. We saw it in Game 2 where he could not miss a mid-range jump shot, and I'll point out that in Game 2, Miami only won that game by 2 points. But that is what the Heat needed to win this series. They needed LeBron to be dropping 40 a game, and he wasn't there for them. He is not the same type of scorer that...
He dropped 31 a game. I'm sorry.
No,
okay.
He needed to be dominant when the game mattered, Simon, and he was dropping most of his points when Miami was already losing by 15 or more.
Okay, Ollie, I'm going to ask you this question. So the Heat have been going to the finals 4 consecutive years in a row. How much do you attribute their poor showing to being just burnt out?
That's definitely something I was going to bring up as well. You talk about a guy like Dwayne Wade that clearly did not have a good series, but had a very good series even in the Eastern Conference Finals, and has been giving Miami 4 fantastic years before that. So I think if you add up, I heard a statistic, if you add up all the playoff games that Miami has played over the last 4 years, it equates to another regular season. So they played 80 games over the last 4 years, playoff games,
87.
And those are hard stress games. So I think there was definitely a burnout factor for them for sure.
And just comparatively to the Spurs, I can't remember the exact minute total, but the starters on I don't know if it was just LeBron or the big three together, but there was something like 10,000 or something minutes more than all of the Spurs players played this year. It wasn't 10,000, but it was a big number that LeBron and the big three have played more minutes than the Spurs.
That's because, as we said, the Spurs have guys like Patty Mills and Ginobili and Thiago Splitter and Boris Diaw that come off the bench.
I know, but to make comments like LeBron's the best player in the world, but Kawhi outplayed him for 3 games. Like,
He did.
Okay, well, LeBron played 10,000 more minutes than him and was getting triple teamed.
Okay, so
fair point.
Let's
There was
go.
a lot more help defense.
Let's go to what do we think about Kawhi Leonard winning the MVP? So he's the 3rd youngest MVP to win since Magic Johnson. I personally feel that he was very deserving. He played amazing defense against LeBron James, regardless of the minute differential. And he really stepped up from Game 3 on to be a dominant offensive player on the floor. Ollie, what do you think about this Kawhi Leonard? I love him. I've been talking about him early in the playoffs, and I think he's going to be a dominant player in this league come the next few years.
2 things that really stood out for me. He had terrible first 2 games. I think he had fewer than 10 points. Really got dominated by LeBron in the first 2 games. And for him to respond with 3 outstanding games, I didn't see it coming. I didn't think he had that in him. And the most interesting part of that, I thought, was that Greg Popovich said post-game he didn't drop 1 play for Kawhi Leonard the entire series. Everything he got was on offensive rebounds, fast breaks, plays that fell apart towards the end of the shot clock. And he created his own offense, and he created to the tune of 20-plus points a game, 10 rebounds a game almost. And you're right, I think he's on the brink of superstardom.
One thing that surprised me was his 3-point shooting. He really didn't pull that out the entire playoffs until the last 3 games, where he was making almost every 3-pointer that they gave him.
Yeah.
As
San
everyone
Antonio
else
was
was.
Spurs were down 22-6 in Game 5, and he hit 2 massive three-pointers to keep them in it, as it were, because Miami was on the verge of running away with Game 5 there before he nailed those shots.
Hmm. Well, I'm very happy for him. Shout out to Kawhi. He is a friend of the podcast. I was actually talking to another friend of mine saying I'd rather hang out with Kawhi Leonard, even though he doesn't talk,
Don't say it.
than LeBron James.
Don't say it. LeBron is the coolest guy in the world. You definitely want to hang out with LeBron.
No, he's
Do you know what he does for his friends?
He's got his family that hanging out. Me and Kawhi would just be playing video
His
games.
friends
And,
so tight. God, you wish you were best friends with LeBron. Although I did hear the best nickname ever for Kawhi, the
What is it?
Kingslayer.
That's fine.
Nice.
Bring it back to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, always.
LeBron, hold on, can we go back a second? LeBron is the coolest person ever to hang out with? He is the most insecure, front-running,
Bones, can we stop Ollie right now?
Shit.
I don't want to hear it.
with the smallest team that we've ever even seen in professional sports.
Okay,
You wanna show this guy?
So this is the deal. We're gonna have a online podcast discussing the size of LeBron's penis in the future. Both of you are gonna be the prosecutor and defendant for how big LeBron James' penis is. I expect for you. This is actually serious. I'm expecting you guys to submit evidence beforehand. We're gonna conduct this so that we get to the truth. Both sides are going to be submitting evidence to me. I'm going to disclose it to the other side, and then we're going to conduct a trial. And then we are going to have the big lads vote on what the truth is. What do you guys think about that idea?
Huge penis.
What's the over-under? Over-under 6 inches?
I guess, well, that's going to be part of the problem is to define huge. That's going to be, you got to submit the evidence, and we're going to
I have plenty of evidence. Plenty.
Yeah. So how huge is huge in your opinion, Ollie?
Huge, if you're fully erect, is like you have to be hitting 10 inches if you're huge.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Fully erect.
This is Long Dog Silver.
Fully erect or you standing is 10 inches?
Fully erect, okay, maybe 8 for huge status. Has to be.
8. Okay, well, we'll get into that. So we'll have, first of all, the definition. It's all going to be part of the podcast, so that'll be actually a fun one. I'm actually going to be looking forward to that one when it comes up. Okay, so next, let's talk about trade rumors. So Kyle Lowry, there's been a rumor going around that he might be moving to the Heat. Ollie, I hear you moaning. What do you think about this?
Nothing makes me angrier than the thought of my favorite player joining the team that I hate the most.
This is
the team that I hate the most right now. The team that I hate most in the history of my life. I've never hated a team more than the Miami Heat.
This is like your Sansa from Game of Thrones, and you just married Joffrey, and now you're finding out Joffrey is this horrible person. Kyle Lowry is just like turning into this horrible being that you can't.
No. Because
listen, you're stuck in this relationship now because you can't like turn your back.
There's no judging Kyle Lowry until he signs his name on a contract. And I still have faith. He still has made some comments that, he likes what Toronto's doing. Toronto can offer him more money than anyone else because of his bird rights. So I still believe that there's a good chance he'll re-sign in Toronto. For him to sign in Miami, the big three have to take pay cuts, and he has to take a pay cut. So unless you have 4 dudes willing to take pay cuts, it's not going to happen. So it's still a very unlikely situation, as is the Carmelo Anthony to Miami scenario. But just the fact that it was a rumor and the fact that Lowry expressed interest in Miami made my blood boil.
Listen, there should not be shots fired. Tom already fired shots my way of saying, oh, if Kyle Lowry went to Miami, would you still be a fan? Of course, LeBron's still on that team. Of course I'm going to be a fan. It's ridiculous to, even if Ollie started hating Kyle Lowry if he went to Miami. Like, no, look at the guy's situation. He's never been on a winning team, unless you want to call this Raptors team a winning team. They lost in the first round, so whatever.
They had a winning record. I guess that makes them a winning team.
Okay, but they're not going to win a championship, right?
I don't know. You know what?
You You give him a chance to go to Miami and automatically contend for a championship. Yeah, you're going to take less money, but you know what? If he was getting the same money and dip to Miami, I think that's worse than taking less money and going to Miami. Because he's giving something up to be able to fight for a championship. So, I mean, you got to respect that. You got to respect his. He played for it. He played well enough for us to deserve a good contract and deserve Miami to want him. So if he can go and find himself a way to win a championship next year, all the best. I'm not going to.
You just said it. He deserves a good contract. You know what Miami's going to be able to offer him? Not a good contract.
He deserves to choose whether he wants the money or he wants to win a championship.
Sure he does. You can take the cheaters road to the championship that LeBron and Wade and Bosch have all taken, or you can stick with what you started and finish what you started the way LeBron should have in Cleveland.
Oh my God, he spent 9 years in a place and never got one player to play with.
What?
Yeah, shit.
Wait, so your excuse for Cleveland is that they had no one to play with, and now your excuse in Miami is that these 3 Hall of Famers aren't good enough for him to play with?
Yes, that is my excuse.
Eventually put some blame on the king.
For what? For dominating too much?
For getting outplayed, for not being the best player in the series.
Are you fucked in the head?
Okay, it's getting pretty heated. This can be a sidebar in the footnotes of the biggest peen on LeBron discussion. So, well, let's. That was pretty good.
Hold on. Sorry, just going back to the biggest peen. Have you seen the size of Kawhi Leonard's hands? There is no way.
That's a good point.
There's no way that his peen is smaller than LeBron's. There's no way.
Well, that's not the question.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Okay. Okay, duly noted. All right. Also, Kevin Love has been heard that he is possibly going to the Celtics. The Celtics are offering the number 6, the number 17 pick, future number 1 draft picks, as well as young guys like Sullinger and Olenek. It seems like the Celtics are trying to get rid of anything not nailed down to the floor to try to get Kevin Love there.
Ain't happening.
So what do we think? Is this a trade that's actually going to go through? Olenek is Canadian, so I think he'll fit in Minnesota.
Ain't happening.
Why not?
Ain't happening. Because the package is not good enough. Kevin Love's the 4th or 5th best player in the league. That's just not good enough.
He's going to leave anyway, but you might as well get what.
Look what the Warriors are offering him now. They just put Klay Thompson on the table.
Yeah, but you can still make the trade.
No, the Warriors are offering Klay Thompson now. So the Warriors give a much better deal than the Celtics.
Yeah.
Just today they decided that they're going to put Klay Thompson on the table.
That's a bad move for the Warriors.
Not to mention Cleveland could throw together a spicy little package.
What's going on with Cleveland?
Well, they could throw in the number 1 and, I don't know, throw somebody else in there for Kevin Love.
I think what it all comes down to is where does Kevin Love want to sign? And I don't think Boston or Cleveland or any team would be smart to give up a lot of stuff if he's just going to play 1 year and then bounce.
Why wouldn't he want to play in Golden State? Pick and roll with Steph Curry?
The only place he's expressed an interest in playing is LA, where he played his college ball where he's from.
What reports are you listening to? He's expressed interest in going to Golden State.
I don't remember seeing that, but if he's willing to sign, it makes sense. If he's not willing to sign, I don't think it makes sense for Boston to give up anything. You're not winning the championship next year with him and Rondo.
Forget Boston. They're not doing that trade.
Well, if he's not willing to sign with Golden State, I don't think that makes sense. You're going to give up Klay Thompson, a first-rounder, Harrison Barnes maybe.
Obviously, you'd have to be willing to sign. That's the caveat of any trade, is that you'd be willing to sign. That's just a given.
For some reason, I feel like he's a sunshine baby, or at least he wants to be. He's not going to sign in like someplace like Boston. I feel like he went to UCLA. He loves the sun-kissed ladies.
His uncle was a beach boy.
Was he?
Yeah.
Which one?
No, I don't know. I don't know the Beach Boys.
You can't name the Beach Boys?
No.
Neither
Chris Bosh, Mariel Chalmers, and whoever else you need to ship out of there to get into Miami. Can we try to figure out how it could work to get Chris?
How can we get every single All-Star on Miami and take a pay cut so LeBron can get made?
I have no idea. First of all, can I go on a little rant? One, I have no idea why Carmelo is the guy that Miami's like, oh, we need to get Carmelo. What was wrong with their team?
He's a free agent. Who else is a free agent?
Well, what was wrong with their team? They need a big man and they need a point guard. They don't need to get another guy that hogs the ball all the time. There's no need. Yes, they could have had some help scoring, but there's much more needs than that.
I think they
What?
I think they want the entire 2006 draft. So they're going to try to get Darko Milicic back into to Miami.
They should. Anyways, second of all, I don't understand how everybody is still referring to this team as a big three. And how they're like they all need to take pay cuts. No, LeBron isn't taking any cuts. The other two should be taking cuts, especially Wade. LeBron should not be taking the same cuts as them anymore. It's stupid to refer to them as a big three anymore. It's LeBron and two little peens. There's no possible way you can put these three people in the same conversation anymore. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Just because Wade had one bad series, that doesn't mean he's not one of the big three.
One bad
anymore.
Series?
He averaged 19, 5, and 5 in the regular season.
He didn't play.
He played 60 games out of 80. That's fine.
50-something.
He's averaging 19, 5, and 5. If that's nothing, then come on.
How many points would LeBron average if he only played 50-something games? He only got to play when he wanted to play. So, I feel like playing today. I'm going to go and play.
So?
He would average 50.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh, my God. Imagine what LeBron could do if he friggin' had some rest.
Okay.
LeBron got all the rest he needs.
All right. I think that's probably good for NBA stuff. I'm gonna skip the draft because we'll be watching.
Where's LeBron going?
Who cares about where he's going? He's gonna resign with
everybody in the world. Yeah, he probably will. But can we talk about the clip for a sec? Because
the what?
I'm kind of jizzing myself.
Okay, so you can talk about the Clips lineup with LeBron in it.
Oh my God, let's go. So they'd have to get rid of somebody. Let's say they get rid of DeAndre. So we're talking Chris Paul, J.J. Redick, LeBron James, Blake Griffin, and whoever the hell you want to shout out at center. Who's stopping that team?
General management.
Probably.
Are you fucked in the head?
Did you not see the Spurs just give a thrashing to every team that they came against this year?
A thrashing? Really? No, I did not.
The Spurs?
They struggled in the first round, and then they struggled all the way.
They cruised past OKC, who didn't have a healthy big man.
Yes, they did. He came back in Game 3.
And he was healthy? No, he came back and he won Game 3.
Did you watch?
He played well.
Yeah, but...
He blocked a ton of shots.
They got smoked in Game 1 and 2 while he wasn't there. He came back, they won Game 3 and 4, and then they lost 2 games.
Yeah? So
it would have been only 2-2 if they'll take the first 2 games away.
No, there's no guarantee.
I'm not saying that's a demolishing.
What makes you think it's a guarantee that they are going to lose those first 2 games if Walker's in the lineup?
I didn't say it's a guarantee, but you can't say it's a demolishing by the Spurs.
You can just admit that Dallas is the only other good team in the NBA besides the Spurs.
You know what was a demolishing by the Spurs? The NBA Finals, where they set a record for the largest margin of victory at 14 points per game.
I'm aware, you little piece of shit.
Okay, I think that's probably good for now. NBA stuff. I'm kind of good. I want to go to bed. All right. So I got a fun game to end the podcast. I actually was looking at all your tweets.
Wait, time out. You skipped over the draft, but Embiid's having foot surgery tomorrow.
Okay.
Wiggins going number 1. That's huge news.
He's not going number 1. Embiid's still going to go number 1.
He's not. They redid the thing, and everybody's like, okay, he's going to fall to probably 3 to 6 now.
Jabari Parker's going number 1.
I don't know. Foot surgery. It's a foot. Like, it's not, like, serious. Like, foot surgery? Really?
It's enough to drop somebody down from number 1. You're going to take somebody number 1 that has back problems and a foot problem now?
He has a foot problem, not foot problems.
Yeah, I said foot. I said a back problems and a foot problem.
Okay. Okay, but you know, he's got 2 of them. Why is he even stressing?
Because it's a stress fracture. Oh.
Maybe going number 1 isn't a big story. We've already had it with Bennett.
Well, no, that would be good if Wiggins went. If we went back to back, number 1 draft picks were Canadian. That'd be pretty big.
Sure.
I don't like your tweet game, Bones, because my last tweet was so whack.
Your last tweet is my favorite. So let's do
It's
the
so
tweet.
whack.
It's so funny.
What was it?
It's so whack. I was like just bored and listening to a podcast and like furious at them. They didn't see this.
Don't ruin it. Okay. So we're going through the tweet game. So I started pulling my favorite tweets from the Big Lad for the Big Lads group.
This is the worst.
So the ones that I found were Tom, Ollie's, Simon's. I pulled one of my own, pulled Ben Resnick's, and I pulled Brooks.
Caveat: I do not tweet ever. I tweet like once a year.
They're gems though when they come through.
These are coming out, eh?
Okay, so I thought let's look at our fellow tweeters, and then we'll have a fun time breaking them down.
Wait, are you gonna say them and we're gonna guess who said it?
No. I'm gonna say which person tweeted what, and then we're gonna be analyzing.
Damn it! I could have denied it.
No. Okay, so this is Tom Christie. Has 183 followers on Twitter, and his tweet was Convocation Day, downtown Ottawa. Today is a big day for a lot of fat kids jammed awkwardly into dress clothes. Hashtag Convocation 2014.
Okay, one shot's fired to fat kids. That's a little rude.
Why is there like fat kids on Is Convocation like a lot of fat kids? I don't get that.
Okay.
Because the skinny kids that are cool don't show up.
Why is Tom at Convocation?
I went to Convocation. Am I fat? Is that like, what does that mean?
You were back in the day a little bit.
Whoa.
Wait.
There was a point where I was the fat guy.
Guys, why was Tom at Convocation?
I don't know.
Maybe you're just driving past it. Who knows?
Scouting prospects? Driving past and had to take a quick tweet?
He's looking for girls
Prospects
to work
were
at the
awkward.
restaurant.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Come on.
Get my mind out of the gutter.
So what's
not
Tom's,
incrimination here?
what's Tom's beef with fat people? I want to know. I want to get to the bottom of this.
I feel like he's just angry at them because they aren't athletes, and he feels they have shitty work ethic, and
You took
Tom
it
has
out
a
by eating
higher
their
level
meal.
of respect for athletes than for non-athletes. So I think that's all it comes down to.
False. Look, LeBron.
What?
False. Exhibit A, LeBron.
He's fat?
No.
No,
Sorry,
he's a
I
ridiculous
didn't put it-
athlete, and Tom has no respect.
No, but there's a caveat. Tom has respect for athletes with big peens. So LeBron's small peen means there's no chance Tom will respect him.
You know what? Tom also has a problem with soccer. So let's read his next tweet. Watching soccer is like watching an NFL game where the teams can only punt. Hashtag World Cup 2014. Hashtag boring. Hashtag 0-0 tie. Hashtag what the hell is stoppage time.
Stoppage time.
Oh,
Stoppage time.
Why is it stop page? Is stoppage with two P's? I
Yeah.
guess so.
Well, stoppage time happens after regulation time of 90 minutes ends, and they add time for all the dudes that have flopped
It also happens
and
after
force the
45
game
minutes.
to be stopped.
Are either of you like big soccer fans?
When World Cup comes around, I watch.
I like watching the games, but I find it hard to watch when two teams simultaneously flop. It's like
It's real bad.
synchronized swimming, except it's shitty. Like guys go for a ball and they both flop at the same time. It's like the weirdest thing ever.
I don't understand how they haven't curbed it yet. Like, just do what the NBA is doing. Fine them a serious amount for doing it. Like, give them a red card if they're caught flopping.
You should just toss them off the field. Like actually, like seriously hurt them for flopping because it's ridiculous.
I agree. The punishments aren't serious enough, but having watched a good amount of this World Cup, I don't think there's been a ton of flopping in the World Cup compared to your standard English Premier League game. I think
Yeah, like one game I watched was France versus Honduras, which was really bad. But besides that, whoa, what is this?
What's going on at Simon's place right now? Wow. Mila. Sabotaging our podcast.
Neil making a lot of noise over there.
Unbelievable.
Okay,
Creep
apologies.
it in.
And stop playing with the mic. It's gonna hurt the ears of all the listeners. It's gonna be terrible. Okay. What were we talking about, Ollie?
Anybody else
Soccer flopping.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's the worst.
But yeah, I don't feel like it's been as bad during the World Cup as it is sometimes.
It's pretty bad.
There have been some great matches. It was a 0-0 draw with Brazil and Mexico. It was one of the most entertaining matches I've seen.
Simon, where are you mouthing to? Okay.
Neil's taking a piss. It's super loud.
Oh, gross.
You guys hear that?
How can I?
Oh,
It's like the
she plays
Iguazu
it.
Falls in Brazil.
Is Mila like you, Simon? Does she pee with the door open?
Want to check it out?
No, I don't want to look.
Just like Simon, peas
Ah.
sitting down and with the door open.
Yeah. A couple of pizza together stays together.
Okay, next on the tweet list, we have Ollie Macklem. Spurs have gone from being my least favorite team to my second favorite team over the last decade. Model of efficiency. Sounds like Ollie's a bandwagon jumper. What do you feel
Simon's
about it?
making some serious blowjob motions. I'm not sure why.
Because all he wishes he could blow every one of the Spurs.
Of course I do. Look at the size of Kawhi's hands. His horn must be massive. We've been over this.
Okay, Ollie, if you had to pick your teeth, would you use LeBron's penis or Kawhi's?
Oh my God, LeBron's toothpick penis would fit right there. I have a little bit of a gap, and it would fit in perfectly. Kawhi, I'd be like,
You'd chip your teeth, I'm sure. Okay, let's get to Simon's tweets. This is by far my favorite tweet, so we have to break this down. Simon,
I need a caveat before you say it.
Simon responds to Andy Greenwald at Grantland.
Damn it.
Cersei definitely told Jaime to release Tyrion, knowing he would find Shay and kill his father, so she didn't have to marry. Simon, why are you?
What is this about? What's he talking about? I'm confused.
He's talking about Game of Thrones. Like, he listened to a podcast about Game of Thrones, and now he's tweeting Andy Greenwald, giving it his opinion.
Okay, so these two perspectives pod, they generally break it down pretty good, right? They generally know what's going on. So I'm driving, listening to this pod, and they missed the most clear point ever. Like, clearly, Cersei told Jaime to tell Tyrion to do and set Shay up in that room so he would go and kill her father, so Cersei didn't have to marry the gay dude anymore. It's clearly what happened.
No.
100%.
How is that clear? All of that is speculation. None of that is clear.
One scene, she goes and sleeps with her brother.
Yeah.
The very next scene, the brother goes and lets out the other brother. She obviously told him to do that, but she wants him dead.
No, because the other Jaime's nice. He actually likes Tyrion, so he would try
why
to
didn't he let
release him.
Tyrion out before?
Because timing.
Don't give me that shit. Anyways, I thought this was pretty clear. So I was driving and I was like, no, this is horseshit. I got tweeted.
Anyway, first of all, it's bullshit. Second of all, you're texting Andy Greenwald.
I'm pissed, alright?
Talking about Cersei and Jaime and Game of Thrones. Oh my god, it's just so funny that this is what you do with your day, is you follow the Game of Thrones podcast and get really animated in the comments section.
Yeah, you should have tweeted at the director of Game of Thrones, Simon. Come on, if you're really that upset about it.
It had nothing to do with the director. It had something to do with Andy Greenwald's take.
I don't know. I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because you're
Oh,
right.
you really should.
Yeah.
It is pretty fun to talk about.
Oh, R.I.P. Red Viper.
Okay. So next, I thought I didn't have any embarrassing ones like Simon. I would have put them in if I could find any. But I texted DeMar DeRozan after the Raps, or I tweeted him after the Raps lost Game 7. So I said, at DeMar DeRozan, thanks DeMar for the great season. We can't wait for next year. Let's keep making the franchise, or let's keep making the playoffs and improve the franchise.
Oh my god.
That's kind of cute.
Sounds pretty
So, if DeMar's kind of, sitting in his bed one day, rolling through his Twitter comments.
Did he favorite it?
No, he didn't favorite it, but I just want him to know I'm thinking about him.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
That's why he's hitting the gym so hard, is because of that tweet.
Always have great work ethic from DeMar. You know he's going to be hitting the gym. I wonder about Terrence Ross, though. I'm worried about him.
Yeah, I hope him and DeMar become bros and in a competitive way. Like they try to make each other better.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good one from Ben Resnick. Thinking about getting a new chair for my office. Hashtag got. Will he need this chair now that he's getting canned from his job?
Wait, first of all, does Ben need to buy his own office chairs? What does he mean he's thinking about getting a new chair? Or does he request?
Hashtag got. So
Okay,
he actually
guys.
bought the. He
No,
actually
no, no,
bought the-
guys. I'm pretty sure it's hashtag GOT, aka Game of Thrones. I think there's a picture attached of him sitting in a toilet.
Oh, I thought he was like thinking about getting this chair. Hashtag I already got the chair.
But then what's
Hashtag
it? It's hashtag got it. Game of
No.
Thrones it?
No,
it's hashtag
Game of
got.
Thrones. Hashtag Game of Thrones.
I thought it was hashtag got it.
No.
Ben's obsessed with the Iron Throne, so I think he's thinking about sitting on an Iron Throne in his office. Maybe that's why he got fired. Actually, maybe that's the
Probably.
real reason. Sorry, Ben, if you're listening, you didn't get fired. I know. We're just teasing. You'll land on your feet. If not, you can sit in this chair. No, too soon.
Sensitive situation here.
Oh, you guys, come on.
Shoot for the moon, Ben. And if you miss, you'll land upon the stars.
It's not like you're Simon, just like totally not gonna be like getting a job the rest of your life. Like he'll find another job.
Simon, that was the gayest thing.
You don't remember that? It was on top of the blackboard in PP's class. You don't remember that in Zettel's class?
That was beautiful.
The banner on top of the. Anyways, I live by that.
All right. The last tweet is from Brooke Simpson. At Cathal Kelly, go to one of those stands for an acai berry smoothie. So dark, so good.
What?
Hashtag that's what you said.
Is there something about, it says dark, it says acai. Is Brooke fiending for some dark acai and Anna can't give him it, or what's going on here?
It started out to be a very hipster tweet talking about smoothies and where to get them, but then it turned kind of homoerotic in the second.
Kind of
Very
jungle,
Night Riders.
very jungle love. There's a lot of so dark, so good. I can just picture him just saying it.
Been watching The Dark Knight a few too many times.
Oh man. Okay. So that's all I have for the podcast. That was pretty fun. We just did an hour and 15 minutes. Thanks guys for jumping in with me. This was a lot of fun.
Quick shout out to Tommy Two Tables for that picture he put in the group of the new Janica. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Shout out.
To Tommy. He probably appreciates the shout outs the most. I don't think anyone else actually listens to this.
No.
Boys, I need to get your opinion on this now. So, this birthday party, which I thought was going to the bar, has apparently become drinking in the park. Like, what am I getting myself into here?
Bail.
Do I go drink in the park?
Satanic rituals.
Bail.
Sounds weird, man. I haven't drank in a park since Paville. You guys remember Paville in Ottawa?
Oh yeah, I love
Did I ever
it.
tell you the time I was? It's probably a story I shouldn't be told, so maybe I just won't do it.
What?
Never mind.
I missed that.
I think
Something
Simon.
happened in Paville, and a little creeper came and was watching something happen in Paville.
I think Simon's
got
gonna
weird.
tell one of his sexual erotica stories, and he got caught by
Yeah,
Milan.
let me tell you guys, Shelta Dickhair used to do work at Paville in the woods. Like, there are
Oh.
numerous stories about this girl.
Can somebody throw a picture of her in the group? I haven't seen her in a long time. Let's see what she looks like.
Delta, I totally forgot about that girl.
Oh, yeah, you really missed that TV head, eh? God, she was ugly.
Are you nuts?
She had a TV head. It was 2 feet by 2 feet.
Are you a homosexual?
No, I just don't like her, so I try and rip her.
I think Ollie asked Shelta out once upon a time, and now he's holding resentment.
Definitely happened.
Okay, yeah. Well, drink in the park. I'd be careful. Just bring protection. You never know with these park dwellers.
What did I sign up for? There's no parks to drink in Toronto. This isn't like
Yeah, at Trinity Bellwoods, there's actually a good drinking scene there.
I'm not going way the fuck out there.
Bail.
I don't know. Drink in the park, you know she's wild.
She must be
Bones, how
drunk.
big is the Toronto West scene going to go once we move out there?
She could be feeling spontaneous, the drinking in the park, and then maybe, you know, subjecting herself to you. You never know.
Bang in the bush?
Behind the
I don't
tree?
know. This was weird.
Who knows? Do it like your kids.
All right, this podcast is becoming like Ben's job. We're done it. Let's roll.
Okay. All right. Thanks again for thanks again for coming on. This is a great podcast, and let's try to keep doing this once a week. And you guys have Simon. I know you have your own sign-off music.
Yep.
You want to play that?
Wait, before
Yeah, Simon, turn it down a bit.
all right.
That's my outage music.
All right, Ollie, do you have something prepared?
I have no exit music, but thank you to Bones for putting it together, hosting as always. Great job. Great job.
Thank you so much, and tell Sportsnet if they're looking for new fresh talents, we might be able to build something here.
You got something. Yeah.
Well, you know the people like what we're given. That's why.
Gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Give them what they need. Hey!
Got to give the people.
Copyright.
Give the people what they need. All right.
God.
Okay. See you guys, and thanks again. And to anyone listening, please write in your comments in my YouTube section.
Every lie that I ever told, paid for every heart that I ever stole. I paid my cards and I didn't fall. Well, it ain't that hard.
When you got so this is my world.
Somewhere I heard that life is a test. I've been through the worst, but I still get my best. God